What is a fact about yourself that nobody ever believes? I've been on fire. Twice. As a child. I ducking at fireworks. JFHC story time. Only if you care to share. Jesus fireworks hating Christ. White guy. Born in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And spent most of my childhood in Kingston, Jamaica. People didn't believe me in high school. But these days this fact mostly elicits raised eyebrows and a "oh really?" exclamation mark. Do you get the "so were your parents missionaries?" question? I do all the time and it's so funny. I'm white like my dad, but I grew up in my mum's non-white country. My uncle, by marriage, and his brother are white, and grew up in Ethiopia. They both get that question. The brother loves to tell how their parents were not, but his wife's were, and then introduces his Hispanic wife. Really messes with people. Banned from China for life. My first name is very unique. People always ask where it's from, and if it's foreign, I have to explain that no. My dad's just dyslexic and misread my name in the baby book, so changed the spelling to suit his pronunciation. No one ever believes me. That indeed is a unique name. My neck Migwag. It's pronounced Michael BTW. I'm allergic to sunlight. Actually, not in a hatter I like to play video games way. It doesn't matter how I say it. It's always understood the other way. I got vaccinated as a baby, like any normal person. But the nurse who did it thought it would be a good idea to not put the syringe in my arm, but in my forehead. I have a scar on my forehead because of that. People never believe it, but my mom has a picture of me with the syringe in my forehead. WTF? Why would anyone do that? The world is a strange place. I wake up at the stroke of 3 AM 7 days a week with no alarm. SRME. What people have a hard time believing is that I enjoy it greatly. I've worked early shift 6 days a week for about a decade now. I used to sleep in on Sunday. Then I couldn't fall asleep on time Sunday night and I'd be sleep deprived and feel like shit on Monday. I resolved to keeping the same hours every day, and within a week I didn't need an alarm anymore. Before the pandemic, 24H businesses afforded me great convenience and a socially distant laundromat and shopping experience. On my day off, I was a 4 AM regular at the deserted laundromat, hit the grocery store around 5:15, and would have all my shit done by sunrise. Both of my parents have a twin sister named Jenny. Is it the same twin sister? My life is so good now that people who I meet these days are always extremely skeptical when I tell them I was addicted to smoking meth, which put me on the verge of death at one point, and that I have been in and out of rehab 5 times from age 16 to 21 until I finally managed to fix my shit up. Nowadays I'm super disciplined with my goals, but also very happy-go-lucky and a jokester, so when I open up to someone about my past, they think it's an elaborate joke. I'll admit though, that I retell the story in a really funny way and I also laugh a lot when I say it, so I probably add to the skepticism. Lol. Congrats on breaking through to the other side, friend. I too have feelings. When people are mean I tell them they hurt my feeling. Singular. Most of my friends have seen my third nipple, but I don't think many believe that I was born with 4. The 4th one was too close to one of my regular nipples though, so they merged as I grew up. Also, just for reference, both the 3rd and 4th are just nipple tips, not a full-fledged nipple. 4 nipples? That's utterly insane. Yup. Take the upvote. Not nobody, but a saddening number of people express shock or surprise when I tell them about the goldfish I had for 10 years, middle school through undergrad, a bit into grad school. That isn't an impressive amount of time. It's the lower end of their average lifespan, 10 to 15 years. Mistreating fish is just very, very common. I can puke on command. I got hit by a car the day Jimmy Carter was elected president. Jimbo almost sent you to the shadow realm. That I posted this same question in Askreddit yesterday. Edit. Wow. Never expected this to be awarded. Thank you, lovely Redditors. I was thrown on stage at a Marilyn Manson concert when I was 15. I knocked over Twiggy Ramirez's mic stand and tried to dive back into the crowd, but they threw me back again. Dude, I'm jealous. I think the path of my life throws people a lot because, in essence, I've lived 2 lives in 35 years with a lot of random scenarios. E.g. Was raised to at least believe I had a lot of money. Was an entitled twat from 8 to 12 Y/O. Went to a preppy boarding school with Eric Trump. Backpacked from Moscow to Delhi. Became a hardcore alcoholic. 28 Y/O. Family lost all $ and house in 2008 financial crisis. Engagement dissolved. Went to rehab and psych wards X3 times. Homeless. Moved. Got better and started to help addicts. Started traveling again. With 4x solid jungle treks in the last 5 years. Engaged again plus career back on track. Wow. Respect. But still kinda hard to believe. I wouldn't fault you at all if you thought it was online BS. I can hardly believe it myself sometimes. Taught myself how to read as a toddler. My mom actually forgot to start teaching my brother because of it. He learned just fine. Thank goodness. Born without wisdom teeth. I was born without any teeth. I'm a coal miner's daughter. I'm fat as hell boiling in a KFC bucket meal, but have mutant pancreas and genetics that make me immune to type 2 diabetes. Was studied while I was in high school. Totaled around 60 hours sitting in a chair with 3 separate fourths in my arms. Drinking that orange crap pregnant women have to. I'm the opposite. Normal weight yet have type 2 and all the shit that goes with it. Lost the genetic lottery. I jumped out from a moving bus to escape kidnapping. I'm happy being alone. People often confuse aloneness with loneliness. Aloneness can be happiness. That my freaking leg hurts cause of vitamin B deficiency. Take vitamin B. I can speak 5 languages, and people already question me for speaking 3 fluently. I met Benicio del Toro in Mexico City airport and he asked me, with concern, what the hell I was doing in Mexico City. What were the hell you doing in Mexico City? I lived there for a few years. Was flying home for a wedding on the same flight as BDT. Nobody believes that my twin brother and I are twins. We are fraternal to the point that we don't even look related. And is your brother named Wayne? I know a Tom and Wayne that are twins that look nothing alike. No ma'am. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can tell you the name, breed, and color of the 200 plus dogs I work with. I can recognize two owner for about 50%. I bet more than 2 are named Buddy. Am I right? Question mark? JFC. I can think of at least 10 off the top of my head. There are a handful of names that just like. The Kinjaverio names their dog. Then they act all taken aback when they noticed another dog has the same one. Like, they genuinely thought they were being creative. We do have some 100% originals, though, and those are always fun. I have perfect pitch. Verified. I'm not a musician. I believe you. One can learn that skill, but some people are born with it. I've been struck by lightning. What superpower did you receive? Alcoholism. I can snap my toes, like I do with my fingers. This is my kinda party. I've got a Scottish Gaelic name. I have ran the Edinburgh Marathon 5k race twice. I play saxophone. I've practiced karate for 10 years. I was banned from a subreddit once for abusive Scottishness. That I'm biracial. They either tell me I'm black, or that I'm white, then ask me if I'm sure I'm not Hispanic. Like, yes, Bob, I'm pretty sure I'm biracial. Seeing as I'm me, people are so closed-minded about race it gets ridiculous. Honestly, after I've told you my racial makeup and you continue to question it, you come off as ignorant and not someone I want to continue to associate with any longer. You mean mixed race that can be but for both. Like the lady singer of LMFAO. I love dancing. I'm extremely shy and will avoid social interactions at all costs. But I absolutely love dancing. Up until a couple years ago I would actually perform. But no one ever believes me when I tell them. I've encountered or been chased by a bear in the wild. In every decade of my life. Maybe rethink your hobbies. My parents turned me into a camper/hiker from an early age. So it's not going to happen. Just promise to go view the biographical movie about my maiming and death by bear in the next 10 years. I had sex with a girl who had sex with a guy who had sex with a girl who had sex with Tom Cruise's former publicist. I once upvoted a guy who had sex with a girl who had sex with a guy who had sex with a girl who had sex with Tom Cruise's former publicist. I once upvoted a guy who upvoted a guy who had sex with a girl who had sex with a guy who had sex with a girl who had sex with Tom Cruise's former publicist. I had scarlet fever when I was a kid. I'm 31. I'm a 4th year PhD student. People have a hard time believing I was a shitty student and failed loads of classes as a kid/teen. Undiagnosed ADHD. Dude. I was born with teeth. Raptor baby. Banned from the Lincoln Memorial. I once sat on his lap. I can somehow turn off street lamps simply by walking under them. Now I know what you're thinking. This sounds stupid. But I now have, at this point, multiple witnesses including my college roommate, my father, and my wife who can verify this phenomenon. And it's not the row of street lamps. It's the individual one that I'm walking under. It happens more frequently than you can imagine. And I point it out to my traveling partner every time it happens. Which is way too often to be coincidental. I'm not sure what triggers it, though I seem to be deep in internal thought when it happens. Perhaps Professor X can give me a hand with figuring out a way to harness this power for the good of humanity. I had a friend who could legitimately do this. I know about street lamps having timers, but he did it all the damn time. He also couldn't wear digital watches. They would start to malfunction after 3 or 4 days. I think he just gave off an unusual frequency maybe. People are always shocked that I'm gay. I don't usually tell people unless I'm asked, because my sex life is not their business. Also, I don't act gay apparently for whatever that means. Come on, you know what that means. A gay friend of mine is gay, but that is basically impossible to guess. His boyfriend on the other hand, you can tell that the man is gay, super gay, from distance. Everything from the way he speaks, to his mannerisms to his clothing style, all gay, nothing wrong about it. I hang out a lot with them. I'm related, like 4th cousin, to Prince Harry, England. Bit random seeing as then surely you'd be related to Prince William then Prince Charles then the Queen but sure, pick Harry as the main person. My grandma was related to Diana, so I'm related to her descendants, not the Queen and such. I can vibrate my eyeballs at will. Perfect for creeping people out. I can never only be mediocre at things. Never fully sucking. Never a master. I grow a few noticeable red hairs even though I'm black. I can't think of 2 other things. I thought like 10% of all people can vibrate eyeballs. I can too. It's a thing. There's even a subreddit for it. Can't remember the name though, but it exists. I'm scared of buttons. I hate the color and they look dirty. You mean like clothing buttons? I'm not scared of them, but I have an absolute aversion to them and always has since I was a kid. I hate the feel, the color and I too think they look dirty. Total heebie-jeebies! Exclamation mark. I have never met anyone who feels this same way. I have a couple. My mom does look a little young for being 41 years old. But because she does look a little young for her age, people don't believe that she now has a 17-year-old son. What's quite funny is sometimes when people come in and compliment her on her looks, they say she looks like she's in her 20s. I know she looks young, but to say a 41-year-old looks like a 20-year-old, nah, I don't think so. Another thing is that people sometimes find it hard to believe that I'm very pessimistic. I do this thing where I put on this facade where I'm optimistic when it comes to other people. But when it comes to myself, I always think things will go wrong, that things will just be bad. Overthinking things massively doesn't help either. Fun times. I never forget names or faces. Like ever. I realized this nearly 2 decades ago working at a telemarketing company. I never forgot a name, and to this day, can think of several names I encountered that stood out. Later I worked at a nightclub, and one day this couple came in. We'll call them Steve and Mindy. We chatted for about a minute or 2. 3 years later Mindy runs into the bar hollering that someone assaulted her boyfriend. I said oh no, is Steve okay? She looked at me like she's seen a ghost and I did think oh. She's probably surprised I remember them. Later she asked how I could remember them, and I just said that I never forget anyone I meet and have any substantial interaction with. I just don't forget names or faces ever. Almost 100% of the time they are permanently etched into my memory. Don't remember birthday or what day of the week it is, and after 6 years still don't have my plates memorized but duck it. If we met one time for 5 minutes 20 years ago, I still remember you. Weird but true. I'm the exact opposite. I'll forget someone's name a week after spending the whole day with them. I'll forget someone's name a minute after spending a whole week with them. It's hell. I'm a chimera. I have kinda low self-esteem. People see me speaking in public and doing stuff like that and think I am an extrovert. But actually I am low-key introverted. I have the same problem, mate. Don't worry. Yeah man. When I was younger, I would get headaches doing chores, bending over to pick up sticks in the yard, vacuuming stairs, anything that involved weird postures. I told my parents that my head hurt and it made me dizzy, and they told me I was a lightweight. They're not abusive or anything. In fact they're wonderful and loving parents. But who TF gets a headache vacuuming? Or square dancing in school gym? Fast forward to age 27, and I was officially diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome hypermobility type by a real geneticist. It explains why my head always felt like it was going to come off. Vindicated. I taste words. Not common, but not uncommon either. Yet people take it for a joke when I tell them. That's so cool. I read colors, which is a much more common form of synesthesia. So it's boring. Do people ever try and make you taste random words on demand? Especially their names. Like I said, they think it's a joke. Because whoever heard of tasting words? Apostrophe. They'll ask the taste of their names. Or perhaps random words like blue, umbrella, etc. And for them, the taste I give is always wrong. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.